This
Oh,
other
really?
nurse, I had the cardiomyopathy, and Kathy's with me. She walked in and just said, "Oh, you're going to die." I thought, "What? I'm going to die?" And that's when she got mad at me because she gave me that meal. Remember? And she gave me this meal because I was dieting for a show. Tells me I'm going to die. Gives me a meal of chicken and that and chocolate cake. She says, "Don't eat the cake. You got to do more tests. It'll set the tests off." So she goes, well, I start eating. I'm eating the cake. She comes in. "I told you not to eat that cake." I said, "You also told me I'm going to fucking die. If I'm going to fucking die, I'm eating the cake."
I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
You're funny.
Like I said, do you like my tail? Like I said.
We are back with another installment of Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo, joined by Lee Priest and John Romano today. This is my third show in a row that I've taped non-stop, and I am flying on stimuli. And guys, I want to just start the show by saying I was in the gym today training. And
no, you want to start the show by saying sorry, John and Lee, for making me think you were dead or something.
We were an inch away from sending the sheriff over to do a check.
I was at Jimmy the Bull's house we were going to the emergency room together, but it was a false alarm.
Yeah, so listen, your health condition is by no means indicative of someone who should be disappearing for 30 minutes.
Exactly, that's what I figured. I figured, okay, he's got that thing in his arm. Maybe something's happened. He's going back to the hospital.
The nurse said to me, she's like, "It looks a little irritated. I don't think it's infected. Does it feel sore to you?" I said, "You think it has anything to do with the fact that I trained arms yesterday?" She's like, "What do you mean you train arms?" She's like, "You're not supposed to be lifting anything over 5 pounds." I said, 5 pounds? I said, "I've been training every day of the week." I said, "Isn't the whole idea behind this thing being deep into your arm that you can do stuff with it?"
I missed that show. What is in your arm?
Dave's hooking the test up to it and pushing the test.
I have what they call a midline. It's not a PICC line. It's a midline. It's a long IV because I'm doing IV antibiotics because the antibiotics I'm taking for the pneumonia I had, they have to go. They have to be done by IV. They can't be taken orally. So
how much growth have you put in there?
I'm mainly. Craig Titus used to tell me that he used to take the GH and IV it. Did you know that?
Yes. Yeah. I've known several people.
I've never heard of anyone else do that, by the way.
Duchesne said to do that.
I heard a few people used to do that, put the growth into their main vein.
Wow.
That was I think originally a Duchesne idea because you think about it, you want to get it in your bloodstream as quickly as possible because it's all going to go to your liver and get degraded and turned into somatomedin C. So the more of that gets there at one time, the better, right?
I guess. I mean, I think it gets in pretty fast, even intramuscularly or subcutaneously. I think it gets
subcutaneously would be the slowest.
I was always afraid that if you put it right into the vein, that you would increase the idea of maybe getting a bacterial infection or something like that. But
in your brain.
But then again, I guess I wasn't really too concerned because I was injecting Nubane into my veins at the same time.
And when you ran out of it, you dig out all the empty bottles and pry the tops off and stick the little insulin syringe to suck out the last couple of drops. You're jonesing so fucking bad that you would have fucking injected peanut butter if it would make that feeling go away. Right? You did it. I'm watching you. You did it. You pried the tops off. You stuck the pin in there. You sucked it out every meal.
I did it because I was cheap. I never ran out of Nubane, John. I had a very good supply of it. Jason Arntz had a very good connection back in the day.
I got the worst. I got the worst head cold right now. It's like I'm telling myself not to go to the gym today, so I'm trying to stay home.
Take some Nubane, Dudley. You'll feel a
Yeah,
lot
that'll
better.
fix it. Just make you not give a shit about
Well,
anything.
last night I felt sick because I took that many nasal congestion tablets and I took the sleep ones. And before bed, I'm thinking, I'm sitting there, my head's sort of going weird. I'm thinking, fuck, how many cold and flu tablets did I take? Maybe I took too many. Now I'm going to die. I was feeling that shit. I was just faking them. I was like, oh,
you've been getting sick an awful lot lately, I've noticed. And you never got sick before that. What's going on with you?
It's because I've just been outside playing in the cold and doing shit. And my wife's like, put a jumper on. I'm like, no, it's okay. Sun goes down. It's like 7 degrees. I'm like, oh, it's a little bit chilly. So then I come inside. She's got the heater on 30 degrees and I go back outside.
I forget that it gets actually cold there because don't certain parts of Australia never get really cold?
Yeah, up the top end, like, you know, it's like Florida, sort of that humid, always sunny.
You're in the south part of Australia, right?
I'm like midway. So we get all season, snow, heat, everything.
But you're like near very close to the coast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you do. It does get
2
cold
minutes.
then.
2 minutes, I could be at the beach.
Oh wow! Just like in Venice.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Are you near that beach that they have the crazy waves at in Australia?
No, that's down the bottom, Bells Beach, the one down there.
Oh, okay.
So we get big surf up here after, because my mum goes off at me because we have that break wall. And we get these waves that come over and they smash over the break wall. So I go out there with my phone taking pictures, and she sends me a message: "Get off the bloody break wall, you stupid idiot!" I said, "It's great, Mum." Then I did leave one day. I got off the break wall, and on that news, 2 girls got washed off the break wall and broke their legs because the wave hit them and knocked them over the other side.
Oh, really?
Did you see that surfer died? What's his name? Did you see that, John?
The big wave surfer?
Yeah, Mikala Jones.
Didn't know him.
No. Imagine surfing those big waves where it's like a 6-story building or more. It's like, we've all been tumbled by little waves where it drags you down. You're trying to come up and you get rolled around like a washing machine. Imagine one of those big ones. Like, oh.
Well, I was actually just in Portugal, and I went to Nazaré Beach, where they have the tallest record-breaking surf waves. The guy wrote was over 100-foot wave there. So
are you serious? Wow.
Yeah, but look at just Google it. Nazaré is the beach. And I think it was 110 feet wave. They pull them in with a jet ski. And
I always look at those jet ski guys going, they got some balls when they go out on their jet skis.
A lot of times they're riding through foam, you know, and they're like what's water and what's not. But
then they take off and the big waves coming behind them and they're trying to beat
that.
Yeah, there you go. There's a vantage point behind the lighthouse that's iconic, that shows you, really gives you a perspective of how insanely tall.
If you surf at Nazareth, you look for the King of Nazareth halfway through the wave.
Just go click to the next one, this one, or fast forward, because this has got to be. You got to see the lighthouse. That's the big thing.
That's fine where they actually surf the wave.
Yeah.
That looks like a little one at my local beach. That one, Dave. Come on.
There you
Type
go.
in monster wave, surfing monster wave.
I think it's the third. Is that the lighthouse? I can't see. Yeah, that's it. The third one. Hit that one. The 100-foot waves of Nazaré.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
Third one over.
Oh, I'm not on the right one. Oh, I'm
on the page. The third one over.
You know what it is? I didn't go to the new page. Hold on. I'm looking at it. You're looking at something different that I'm not even looking at.
Apparently.
Hey, what did you think about that new movie coming out that the liberal media doesn't like, that true story that Jim Caviezel's in about the child sex trafficking and that? Did you see that one?
I heard a few people sent it to me. It's very disturbing, you know.
Very disturbing.
When I was listening to the interview, the guy who it's based on, he said that, you know, he's talking about all the stuff that he's seen and just the videos and the trafficking and the sex porn and all this sort of stuff.
There's the wave. Hold on.
There you go.
Hold. Yeah, look at that wave. That's crazy.
Look how small he becomes in comparison to the height of the wave, like right there.
That's got to be scary, don't you think, John?
And you know how loud that is? That sounds
Yeah.
like 10 space shuttles taking off right next to your ear.
And like out of your peripheral vision, you just see that wall of water behind you.
Right. You know how many tons of water that is that's crashing down on you like that?
That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I saw the waves there. That's in the winter time. In the summer when I was there, the waves are very low. But I'm going back this winter because I want to see that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I was at the North Shore where what is it called in Hawaii there? What is that? place
Bonsai
called?
Pipeline.
And Amanda and I went there. We went on a vacation. We drove up to the North Shore, and we literally were sitting on the beach. And I was too scared to even go in the water, John. That's how crazy the waves were. And I'm sure they were probably 15, 20-foot waves.
The thing about the pipeline, which gives it its characteristic tunnel tube shape of the waves, is that there's a coral reef very close to the surface there. And these guys wipe out and they get battered into the coral, man, and come up all bloody and everything. It's a crazy experience.
The lifeguards there were constantly running into the water and rescuing people.
I was at Newcastle Beach once. This would have been years ago. And I was body surfing. There was like a big surf out. So every now and then the freak waves would come through. Like, I've had enough now. So I turn around and walk it out. You know, water's up to my chest here as I'm just pushing through to walk out. All of a sudden, as I'm looking at the beach where I'm going out, the water goes from here down to my feet. And I went, all of a sudden, bam, down I go, washing. By the time I got washed up near the lifesavers flags. I was laying on the beach like, what happened? When that water dropped, I knew there was something behind me.
So I'm in the gym training at Crunch Fitness today, and I was actually surprised. Someone actually did something that surprised me because, you know, normally people sit on these machines with their cell phone in their face and they're really rude, and especially the women. I hate to say it, but I don't think women know gym etiquette. But I'm in there, and I was waiting to use one of these machines, like a hamstring curl. And the guy actually says to me, he goes, "You want to work in with me?" I said, "You know, you're the first person since I've been here in Florida that has asked me if I want to work in with you." And then that was something that we always did in New York. I mean, if you're on a machine and someone wants to use it, you work in. One guy goes, the other guy gets off and rests, and the other. And
probably because he wasn't from Florida.
No, he wasn't. But he
Dave left out the part. Dave left out the part he was gay and just wanted to look at his ass.
Yeah. He just wanted to look at my ass when I was doing leg curls. Yeah. No, but the truth is that, and I hate to say it, but it's mostly women who don't know gym etiquette. They think that once they're on the machine, they own the machine for that period of time. No matter how long they want to be on that machine, they own that machine. It could be 20 minutes. And if they got to make a few phone calls while they're on there and doing their 18 sets.
That's women in general, not just in the gym. Ask Amanda when she's in your house. That's her house. That's her car.
That really is her house, though. That really is
everything. It's not just the gym day.
They don't know
everything.
When you have a gym which has limited equipment, and you have a lot of people in the gym, you work in on the equipment so that you don't have to. It shouldn't take me 2 hours to train legs because I'm waiting for machines. Right. Or I'm waiting for. I can't even get a squat rack, John. They have these power racks.
It's the same here.
Same thing. They have these power racks, those rubber plates.
Oh yeah.
And people love to put 6,000 of them on there. It makes it look like they're squatting 1,000 pounds when there's really only 200 pounds on there.
Same here though. Every time I go to the gym, the same girls nearly every day doing the same butt exercises, leg exercise. I'm like, every day. I'm like, come on. But it's like what I hate is like when they're holding up the chest machines and they got big fake double Ds. I'm like, why the fuck are you on there for anyway? Get the fuck off it.
My new nemesis are the tribe. I call them the tripod people. They're the young guys that have to record all of their entire workout, every rep of every set, and they set up tripods with their phone to do it. And if your gym is not very big and there's not much room between equipment, those tripods get in the way. Now. This not only annoys me, it annoys a lot of people I know. And I'm going to tell a quick story of a rather frustrated iron brother in I'll just say New Jersey. I'm not going to say exactly who and where, because of the potential legal implications of what may or may not have happened. Apparently, annoying tripod person has added another piece of equipment to their repertoire of annoying equipment, and a light on a tripod. So he's got the tripod set up and the light set up on a tripod. And my friend who hates the tripod without the light even snapped. He weighs like 280. He's a huge dude. He just walks straight down the aisle of equipment on either side, like he's making believe the tripods don't exist, and he just walks right through them, crunched them, stepped on them, broke them, stomped on it, shook it off his foot and kicked it into the wall, and continued on. His name's not Jimmy
Paletia?
It kind of reminded me of something Jimmy would do, but it was like a bulldozer right through the equipment, and then he just kept going, and the guy weighs 280. What's the kid gonna do? Say like, yeah, you stepped on my tripod. Now, and I think of that, and I imagine, could you imagine if a guy like Charlie Arms in his prime, was subject to this tripod culture? Could you imagine? I mean, he'd probably still be in jail for murder right now, right?
Even Joe Gold. Imagine Joe
Oh
Gold.
my God!
He wouldn't let them in the front door.
He wouldn't let him in the door. But I'm saying, imagine a gym goer, just guy like Charlie Arms dealing with the tripod people.
Right.
We got a guy at my gym that does that, and I've always noticed the ones that do it don't even look like they fucking train. That's the bad thing.
Yeah, I know.
And this guy, we have like a small gym, so in front of the dumbbell rack, you got like 4 benches. He'll always move 2 benches out to put his tripod right in the middle in front of the dumbbell rack when he's on a bench. I just look over like, what the fuck? But then he'll set it up, and then he goes off and talks to someone for 10 minutes, and he just leaves his tripod sitting there. I'm like,
the worst we've had to deal with is somebody putting their shit on your bench while you're doing something else. That's like, moving in. But now these mini studios are like popping up all over the place.
I don't even care about I just want people to get the fuck off the machine so I can do a set.
Yeah.
In between their filming, phone call, rest, whatever they want to call it, while they're in between, let me get on the bench and do a set too. That's all.
I tell you what annoys me also, apart from the benches, when you're at a gym, it's a new common theme now with people on their phones in the gym taking up time. If you've ever got to use a public bathroom, the cunts just sit in there on their fucking phone. They're not doing anything because you'll be waiting. You don't hear anything, but you hear ding, ding. They're just in there messaging, taking time off work, sitting on the fucking can. And you really got to go. You're like, come on, fuck.
I took my son into a bathroom at a restaurant, and we walk in there, and my son is a wise ass, okay? And all we hear is, this guy is farting, shitting. I mean, the noises, and I know exactly what's going to happen next. My son is going to say something like, fucked up, like that. And he's like, Dad, what the hell is that? I said, watch your mouth. He goes, it stinks in here. He goes, what's going on? I said, someone's going to the bathroom. And the guy obviously can hear us, and I'm like trying to stifle my laughter because I don't want my son. I don't even know what he's capable of saying at this point.
Look at the picture I just sent you.
You texted it?
Yeah.
I don't know. John sent me a picture of a toilet bowl with shit all over it. Yeah.
A friend of mine texted me that like about an hour ago.
Oh, that's funny. So John, we're in the bathroom. My son is futzing around with the faucets and the sinks and everything like that. And the guy walks out. Now, I would have stayed in there until we left the bathroom if I was the guy. He walks out with his head down, and I'm just saying, Logan, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. So the guy walks out of the bed, he washes his hand, he walks out of the bathroom. My son goes in there, and it's the guy made a mess. My son's like, what is he doing here? I said, he obviously doesn't have good aim. He obviously doesn't have good aim. I don't know what's wrong with people using when I use a toilet. If I have to use a toilet in a public restroom, I clean up the whole thing prior.
I do the
clean
same
it up
thing.
after. I'm like, I don't want to leave anything. Like, I don't want to leave a drip of urine anywhere. It's
No.
like, if they had cleaning supplies there, I'd probably clean the toilet bowl. So,
Well, I do that. I normally get like paper towels.
yeah.
I go to the soap dispenser or antiseptic thing. Then I go in the cubicle, wipe the seat, wipe the door handle. Then I put paper over the seat. And I'll go to the very end toilet. If there's 8 toilets, I'll go to the very end one because I don't like the shit in public. But if I have to go, I will. I sit there, you get your pants down, you're just about to go, and some cunt sits in the toilet right beside you. You're like, what the fuck? So now I've got to sit there and hold it because I don't want to make a noise. And this cunt's on his phone for 20 minutes, and I'm sitting there holding my stomach like, maybe if I flush, they won't hear me.
You just flush it. You you time it. You go at the same time as the flush. You can't hear anything.
Sometimes I think maybe if I get a whole handful of toilet paper, put under my asshole and then push, and I'll muffle the sound.
If you had gone to prison like the rest of us, you would know you would know how to do that.
Complimentary flush. You got to do a complimentary flush.
Right.
Yeah. When you're in prison, as soon as you poop, you got to flush it down the toilet.
As you're pooping, as it's coming out.
Why do they got to sit right beside you and you don't hear anything? All you hear is on their phones. I'm thinking the guy's taking some time off work. He's just going to sit there. Now, and you know when you're ready to go, now you got to hold it in. I was like,
yeah, but you know what? If you poop as you're flushing, John, sometimes if the flush is too powerful, you get splashed.
I've had that,
which is disgusting too.
Yeah, that's terrible too. Well, and you got to time it right too. Well, yes, that too. But you also have to time it right because you want it. It's got to go right from your asshole down the drain into the vortex because it will suck the smell down with it. So you have to time it exactly right. And if then the splash doesn't matter if it all went.
On the plane, you got to do that because as soon as you push it.
Now in the plane, you better be careful. There's nothing hanging in that hole, man, because it's going in there. That's like super suction.
You got to go. Sometimes you got to go, but then the floor in there is so wet. You're like, I can't take my pants down. I did that one summer. I can't remember. I didn't look, and I took my pants down. When I pulled them up, I feel this wetness going up the back of my leg. I'm like,
there was probably a puddle of urine there.
It was.
That's exactly.
When
it's not lemonade.
Open, I'm wiping my shorts and wiping my leg. I'm like,
and you know what? When I go in an airplane bathroom, I'm super clean too. I don't know why people think that they can go in there and just fucking piss all over the fucking place.
It must be some sort of innate human need to have to make a mess when you use the and so in our own civilized environments, our home, we won't dare do it, right? Yeah. But as soon as you go to the gym, the public bathroom, the airplane bath, you just paint the walls with shit because you're like it's like the girl who's like suppressed, overprotective parents, they keep her down. You can't go out. When she finally gets out, she fucks the whole football team the first night she's out. With a morphine Haagen-Dazs lollipop hanging out of her mouth.
It's like whoever goes in the toilet after me on the plane gets the cleanest toilet because I go in there with the antiseptic spray. I spray the handles, the seat, the door. I clean it all up.
I'm the same way, man. They should leave cleaning supplies in there for people who want to clean.
No, but do you hate it though? Have you ever had this happen where you've had to go to a toilet on a plane or somewhere else? Like that guy went before you, stinks it up. You just go in to do a quick pee, come out that someone's going in after you, and they look at you like, "Oh, good one, fucking smell." It's like it wasn't me.
We used to do that in the elevator. A couple of us are going up in the elevator, like in an office building, and you just blow like a terrible fart out, and then you get out, and you leave them in there, and the elevator goes up, opens the door, the next stop they go in, there's 12 people waiting there, and your buddy's standing there in a green cloud.
Kathy, when I was married to Kathy, did that to me once. We're in line to get some food somewhere, and she'd done this quietest fart, and I heard it just went squeak. I went, great. And all of a sudden, it's one of those quiet ones, but deadly. I'm like, oh. And she looks at me and she goes, "You're disgusting. Why did you do that?" Now everyone in line's looking at me. I'm thinking, oh, it wasn't me.
My daughter, my youngest daughter, I was holding her. She was, 1, I was holding her on my one arm, and I'm checking out at the grocery store. So I got her in this arm, and I'm checking out with the thing out of the basket. I didn't have a cart, and she just, she farts. There's no that's what they do.
Yeah.
It stunk so bad. And of course, no one could imagine that stench came out of that cute little angelic little child in my arms. It could only have been the fucking tattooed, bearded mongrel that was holding her,
I know. It's bad. It's funny when you say holding the baby at the shopping center. Sometimes I went to the grocery store yesterday or the day before, but every time I see it, I always ask. They'll be pushing their carts around. They got all their groceries in. They got their kids sitting in the cart. I'm like, oh wow! I'm like, what aisle did you get that on? And they always give me this look like, because they got the kid in there. I'm like, what aisle did you get that on? I want one. It's like, they always give me this dirty look like, you're a pedophile. You want to buy a kid?
Yeah, that's a hot topic now. This whole
yes, The Sound of Freedom. It looks like a good show, and I said I've been watching all these people like, oh, it's with QAnon, they're all this, but it's like this is the whole, like guys with the security, I think what was he with the terrorism security on the border and stuff, and then he did that for years and other stuff, and then he gave up the job to go after this trafficking, and he goes, the movies he's seen and had to watch and the stuff he saw, but yet all these media stations are trying to say it's made up, it's glamorized, and it's like, no, it's real. And he's got all the videos. It's like, if they want to sit down and watch a video of kids being raped and child pornography, he goes, the biggest markets here in America, he goes, I'll show them. It's like,
well, they associated with QAnon. And the funny thing is that movie was made, I think, 5 years before QAnon was ever hatched. So,
really?
So I mean, it's typical. Look, you're talking about a liberal media who is actually defending Joe Biden, okay? Who is absolutely incapable of carrying on even the slightest conversation with anyone without cue cards. Did you see that whole debacle in England when he was with King Charles and he's inspecting the troops and he's talking to the English guards, with the red with the fur hats on? You can't talk to them. They're like statues, and Biden's talking to them like he talks to statues anyway, I suppose.
And King Charles is trying to come on, let's go.
And then he's grabbing on the king, like helping him walk, and the king's like,
you gotta watch. You gotta watch
that NATO summit. He didn't know where he was going at the NATO summit. He's going this way. Oh no, I'm going this way now.
You gotta watch Alex Jones on Patrick Bet David.
Oh wow,
Patrick Bet David interviewed him for like 3.5 hours, and he talks about how they want to. He's convinced that Biden's going to fall down a flight of steps, and then.
But they have to do something. They have to do something about Kamala Harris first, because but then there's two ways of looking at that.
She's only going to be
it's a figurehead, right?
At the end of the year, John. So
it's a slot holder. Okay,
yeah.
so
John would have saw this one, didn't you? Culture is something that we do today. Like in the morning. Culture is like now. And our time.
Culture in America is like the American culture that Americans feel when they express their culture, their American culture in America, because the culture is American.
Then she goes, I normally feel it in the morning, don't you?
They played a clip, John. They played a clip of Biden saying, they wiped my butt. They wipe my butt. Don't worry. They wipe my butt. Because according to Alex Jones, I guess when Biden gets all wound, because they have him on so much speed, that he poops his pants a lot because he can't control it.
Well, you can see, like when he fell down over that sandbag on the stage, and you can see that he's wearing an awful lot of. His pants don't fit like ours do.
No,
all right,
he poops himself a lot. They said, and so.
I think that's why he got up out of that interview. Remember, he just walked. When the interview ended, he gets up and walks. Shuffles off. Like it would
be sad if he wasn't the president of the United States. But you know what? I don't.
What about those two things I sent you, Dave? Where the one on the trains thing we can get to in a minute. But what about the other one where because these people are in shape now, being in shape and fitness, John, is now racist according to the liberal media.
Fit shaming. Yes.
All right, let me pull. I wanted to pull. Speaking of being in shape, did you see this picture of Zuckerberg?
Always like showing his abs.
Now, he doesn't have a lot of body fat on him, but number one, he's got gyno. Okay, you think the guy's a billionaire? You think he'd have his gyno taken out, and he's probably $135 there, don't you think, John? I mean, he's not that impressive to me. He's just
if compared to the rest of his generation, he's impressive. So
we don't know what he looked like before. He might have been in shape before too. I don't know.
Most like a hairy-chested twink.
Most people in his age group are fat, sloppy, out of shape people. So I think probably for his. If everybody in America looked like him, we'd have a lot fewer health problems.
I think with all his resources, all his resources and money, he should look better. He could have the best chef, the best personal trainer, the best growth hormone. He should look a lot better.
The dude on the right looks pretty good.
I think that's a real MMA guy, isn't it?
Probably is. I mean,
the other guy's a gyno too.
I can't relate to the tall guy because he's like really tall.
Well, the tall guy has gynecomastia too.
Yeah, he does. The other guy, the only guy that doesn't is the guy
that's because, Dave, as you know now, they've changed the thing in America where men can chest feed milk by taking all those chemicals and hormones. They can. Did you see that one? Did you see that one, John? Where they're letting men now breastfeed children. You've got to take all these drugs to produce the breast milk if they can, but the drugs they're taking, women aren't allowed to take when they're breastfeeding children, but the men can take. And I'm thinking, if you're a man, that's like being a pedophile, really, because you're not doing it for the kid. You can know these chemicals are bad for the kid. You want a kid sucking on your nipple.
Exactly.
That's
exactly. You guys are UFC champions, John. It's UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya, and the other guy's Alexander Volkanovski.
So he's training with those guys.
Yeah, he's training with them.
That's great. He's a billionaire. He should be able to train with anybody he wants. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I would do that.
You think he can beat Musk, or you think Musk will take him?
I think that the whole thing is entirely set up to generate revenue in some form or another, and has got zero chance of being serious.
You think Mr. G fighting Big Lenny has a better chance of happening?
I think it has a very strong chance of happening, but it's the validity of it is what's in question.
Oh, you think they're going to fake the whole thing? I don't believe so.
Of course they would. I mean, come on,
who's going to win then? You can't.
They're going to go into the octagon. They're going to sit in their corners on their stool and text abuse at each other on their platforms.
Over Starlink.
I think that, to me, Zuckerberg is like more intense looking, but I think Elon's more creative. I could see Elon figuring a way to really.
Elon's very out of shape. He's got no time to control. The guy's running like these huge companies doing all.
He was a black belt in disciplines,
and he always will be. But the point of the fight is not to settle anything. The point of the fight is to generate interest.
Right.
So that's the purpose of it. And so I think with the amount of money that they have to invest in such a venture, it's going to be, peanuts compared to what they're going to get back. So they can hire the best fight choreography and, imagery and God knows probably what we end up seeing is probably going to be AI anyway. So
exactly.
Do you think it's going to be like the moon landing?
Look, whatever image is coming out of this screen right here, this device, you have no way of knowing how that was generated. So you could, the people that are listening to our show right now could very well be watching an AI generated show. It's been done before. I mean, the quality is not yet as good as the real thing. You can tell the nuanced differences, but they're going to end those quickly. I mean, as soon as the next generation and the generation after that comes out, they're going to fix those bugs, and you'll not be able to know. So you'll turn on the TV and you'll see it's going to be like Orwell with the what was that when the spaceship landed, and if you turned on the radio like a couple minutes late. You
War of
didn't
the
know. You didn't hear it was the
Orson Welles, you know,
Orson
War of the
Welles.
Worlds.
Yes, yes,
War
the
of the
War of the
Worlds.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull up Greg Valentino's new next wife he's going to have.
Yep.
All right. Lee sent me this. I guess there was a Miss Australia. Is she?
No, Netherlands. The one on the left with her arm up won. She beat that girl on the right who's a real woman. This trans man won, and she's going to the Miss Universe to represent the Netherlands. Once again, we have a man taking over the Miss Netherlands beauty pageant. So what's this tell you, women? Even in beauty pageants, you suck. Men are better.
What do you think about this, Lee? I mean, is this?
They already have. I know in Thailand and that they have like the lady boys where they actually have universe pageants for trans men, and some of them look beautiful. But yet, when it comes down to this, when it's for women and a trans man, and look at the teeth and that on it, the rip the head off if they gave you a blowjob.
Seriously ugly.
It's like, how can you have a trans man take away a spot from a real woman? This real woman's probably a whole life from a young girl done beauty pageants to try and get to the Miss Universe, and now gets beat by a man. Like,
what I want to know is, where are the feminists? Where are the women of The View whose cumulative IQ is less than 6? Where are the staunch feminists that want to fight for women's rights and that get all crazed out of shape over the slightest little things that men allegedly do to them with respect to equality and whatnot? And then you have a man, a psychotic man, going into a contest of women and winning, taking that away from the women. Where are you feminists? Where are you? That's okay with you? That's fine.
Comes to the sports, and you got these men now taking scholarships away from real women and stuff like that. It's like they just sit there quiet, because that's why I like that Riley Gaines and on them. They speak out, but even when they speak out, they've explained we're not against them. We're against it in the sports and that. But you know what it's like. You're transphobic. You're this. You're that. It's like, no, we're not. We just don't want a man coming in our change room with his dick hanging out when there's us and young girls in there. Right. It's like, who would?
Well, mostly that I think that Leah Thomas guy, whatever. He would go into the locker room, from what I understand, and he would just let his schlong hang out there in there.
Did you see that Riley Gaines, when she complained about it? They told her and her teammates to go see counselling because it was their problem, not his. That they need to get this inclusivity type training.
The sad thing is, really, when you pick it apart, is that these people are mentally ill. Period. They are mentally ill. Now, here you have a situation where if a mentally ill person, you should take pity on mentally ill people, not celebrate their mental illness. The problem when it comes down to it is when a parent becomes protective of their young. And if I see my daughter being accosted in a bathroom by a mentally ill person, that mentally ill person is going to get hurt. And I think that's a sad commentary on the fact that I don't want to hurt a mentally ill person. But if you are in any way antagonizing my daughter in that situation, you're going to get hurt. And that's not. And I'm using me as a euphemism for any father. Dave, you'd do it. Lee, you would do it. Any of us would do it. There's going to be no tolerant liberal male when it comes to your own daughter in the bathroom.
If Leah Thomas had a need to change in the women's changing room, don't you think, knowing she's got a penis, that she would go into the stall, one of the ones that Lee cleaned, not one of the disgusting ones, but one of the ones Lee cleaned, and take her clothes off and then put her new clothes on and then walk out, just out of common courtesy. It's almost like she did it on purpose to fuck with these people.
Yes, of course. I think there's a different amount of psych out, involved in that.
But even if she changed in there, she's going to come out and see these other girls changing naked. And it's like John said, it's this mental disease. Because like I said, some probably because they have the hormones from birth or whatever, when they get to a certain age, they think they are women. But in the old days, if you thought that, you used to go see doctors, psychologists for a year or two before you went to any transitioning phase. But now it's just, I wake up, I'm a woman today, and you have to accept it and let me do everything a woman does.
No, it's worse. It's celebrated. That's the problem.
I have to believe, John, there are pervert men who
Yes.
that are going to dress up like a woman, put a wig on, and go into the locker room at the gym or wherever the place may be where there's naked young girls, and then he's going to fucking check them out and fucking go in the stall and, you know,
There was a case in Texas. The father beat the guy to death.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he got off.
And that's the thing too with the mental illness. We have it here. You see it with police now, even in America here. But we had a couple of shootings here. These people mentally ill, but you know, the police turns up. Here's a guy. We don't have guns, so he's got a big butcher's knife and he's attacking people. Comes at the police, they shoot him. Then his family comes out. He's got all these mental problems. It's like, well, how does the fucking cop know that when he turns up? He doesn't have his fucking psych sheet. Cop turns up. He's a guy with a knife coming at him. They shoot him. Well, they shouldn't have done that. They should have done something else. He has all these mental problems. Well, now he's dead. He deserves to be fucking dead. He won't hurt anyone else. There, he's been cured.
Right, they cured him.
We're living in a very dangerous society which is not going to end well. I you know what, it's so weird that they want to make the men women and the women men. It's just what
is
you think it's a population control thing, John, or do you think it's just a confused people type?
It's a social media fad, is what it is.
No, it's not. No, it's not. There is a guided agenda here, and I don't know what the agenda is, but they want people to either have gender confusion or they want to limit population. I don't know what they want to do with this. There's something.
I disagree with you. It's a social disorder. I'm sorry, Lee. It's a social disorder. Okay, it's being celebrated. It's being celebrated. This is like you having, you know, cancer, and people are, you know, throwing you parties because you have cancer. This is the analogy that we're dealing with in society right now.
Look at Bruce. Well, Bruce Willis. Look at Bruce Jenner, who's now Caitlyn Jenner. Right. She wanted to be a woman. She got all her surgeries. She became a woman. But you don't see her in the locker room of Gold's Gym Venice with her fucking schlong hanging out in the women's locker room. She's not making a mockery. She's not espousing that women should be able to do. I mean, men should be able to do women's sports. She just wants to be a woman and left alone. So I think there are people who legitimately are transgender. Those people are not being activists. The activists, I think, are the cuckoo birds. That's what I think.
Exactly. Well, you look at it when we said that this movie, The Sound of Freedom. How could any media not be behind that, stopping the sex trade of young kids and pornography? Even not even young ones, even like teenagers, and that they were showing some videos of people where these young girls went to shops and these people on motorbikes would turn up and try and kidnap them. So it's like, how could any media be against that and not be behind stopping the sex slave trade like that with young children? It's like, and they were saying too in it how, you know, it's become this multi-billion-dollar thing, and majority of it's in America because they're explaining how, you know, selling cocaine or drugs, you sell it once. They said a child, they can sell 15 times to different people and make all this money from one kid, whereas a drug, they sell it once, it's gone. This child, they could sell 10 times to different people.
It's money. I don't think people can really fathom the amount of wealth that is readily available at people's fingertips in this world. If you can globally imagine places like Beverly Hills and you know, Bel Air all over the place, you know, there's 2-year waiting lists for Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and you can't, you know, artwork is going for hundreds of millions of dollars for a painting you can buy. There's a never ending barrage of people traveling, purchasing hotels. Try to get a 5-star hotel accommodation in Dubai. You got to wait 6 months. I mean,
really? Wow.
There's an incredible amount of wealth being acquired and spent, trillions of dollars worldwide. To imagine that there couldn't be some way of servicing a perversion for children within the realm of that amount of money and power is absolutely ludicrous to think that that couldn't happen.
Well, the guy that did the movie too, I was watching his big interview. I have to send it to Dave, but because I was talking about how, you know, we always hear about the high society drinking the blood and this, he goes, you might laugh at that. He goes, I got videos. He goes, I've seen it firsthand when, I forget what country they went into, where they get babies and they do sacrifice the babies. He goes, I've been to places where they'll get the babies and they cut their genitals off and hang their genitals over doorways to ward off spirits or give them some sort of prosperity in life. He goes, but I've seen it. He goes, we've got videos of them taking the blood and drinking it. He goes, yeah, it sounds all this. And then he goes, yeah, any of these people who are against it, he goes, anytime they want, he goes, I can show them all the evidence that this is happening. So
I want to know why there is such a network.
No one's backing this. What? Give me the story behind this. The Sound of Freedom movie.
Well, it's like the guy who was like, he worked for Homeland Security for 10 years or more, and he was down on the border a lot, and he'd see all this trafficking going on and stuff, and he would help out. They'd ask him to help him. Then I think he was with the CIA for a little bit, but then they told him because some countries he would have to go to that he wouldn't be able to do it under the badge thing. So talks about how he spoke to his wife, and she said, well, quit your job, and now he does it privately and stuff, and going. And they said too, everyone says something about in the movie, you could hear him talking, because in the movie they actually go to an island, and people like Epstein's Island, because they had to rescue all these kids off some island somewhere, and people were thinking, oh, that's like a hint at Jeffrey Epstein's Island. No, it's just an island that we had to go to.
Epstein was sending letters to Larry Nassar in jail.
What's that?
Jeffrey Epstein sent a letter to Larry Nassar, the guy, the guy who was abusing all the U.S. gymnasts.
Yeah.
He sent him a letter, right, and then he died. And I don't think that the letter never got delivered. Obviously, they intercepted it. No one is saying what the letter said. They're not releasing it, but there was a letter sent by him to Nassar, which would imply that they knew each other. Obviously. And supposedly Larry Nassar was, I guess, released. He had been in solitary confinement since he's been jailed. And I think they released him into the general population. He got the crap beat out of him or something like that on the first day out. So
he just got stabbed again only a few days ago.
Oh, he did? Yeah, he'll probably be dead in a few.
It was on the news yesterday. He got stabbed 10 times, like twice in the neck, a couple in the chest, and 6 in the back.
Releasing a pedophile into general population is the exact same thing as killing them, because that's what happens.
I saw one of the Manson girls got let out yesterday.
Yep, Leslie Van Houten, I think, or Linda Kasabian. Which one? I forgot.
How old is she?
She looks pretty old.
70 something. Yeah, 70. She was the one. She didn't do the Sharon Tate. She did the murder the next day.
LaBianca murder. Yeah.
How many years did she serve?
50.
I don't get why that Max. What's her name? Jeffrey Epstein's friend, Maxine.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes, if she's in jail now, why doesn't she just come out of that black book and the names and go, what can they do? I mean,
she knows they'll kill her. That's why.
It's probably the safest place that she could be.
Yeah.
Get it out there, though. Give it out. Send it out to people.
Well, who knows? Who's to say it's not already out there? You know.
Larry Nassar was stabbed 10 times, it says.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold on, let me pull this up. What a fucking sicko he is. Guy.
He abused a couple of hundred of the gymnasts, didn't he?
All of them.
He was sticking his fingers up there in their crotch,
Right.
And I know I saw a lot of them like that Biles girl, and them talk about how they're mad at because how could you do that many girls and the committee not know something was going on?
They covered up for him. I don't know why. Yeah. Maybe he was sharing pictures with them. Who knows? He had tons of child porn on his computer too. Supposedly.
What a weaselly looking character. Look at him. Look at that fuck.
Yeah. He's definitely got problems. Yeah.
Poor girls.
Yeah. He'll have to be put in solitary now, that guy, because
I interviewed did a guru talk with Leo Meyerhofer. Remember we had him on the After Hours show, John. He's the guy who was training RFK Jr.
Oh yeah, RFK.
To do that video at Gold's Venice there.
Yeah.
So he said that when he worked, he's Austrian. So when he goes to the gym, sometimes he runs into Arnold there. Arnold will come up to him because he knows him because he's Austrian. He's like, let me see you hit some poses, and Arnold will give him like posing and stuff like that. I said, does he like you? He goes, yeah, of course, because we grew up like my town was like one town over from his.
So they speak Austrian to you.
He writes to me all the time. He goes, next time I'm in Venice, he wants to do a workout video with me and have me on a podcast.
Who does?
That Leo guy. He always writes to me.
Oh, you know Leo too. Okay, and so he also told me that he works out a lot with Arnold's son, Joseph.
Yeah.
And Joseph's always like, he said, Joseph is, he said, the best poser in the whole gym. He goes, he's never competed, but he said, if you want like posing advice, he's probably the best guy.
Wow.
He goes, you'd be shocked at how good this guy is. He knows how to execute every pose. He can break it down. He's, and he's always like, I want to compete, but then the movie guys always tell me I'm too big. And so I said, he's not going to compete. Arnold probably told him, you're going into the movies. There's way more money.
Well, he's really big into real estate.
Is he? Oh, Joseph
his main thing's real estate. Yeah.
I'm sure Arnold got him.
I'm sure Arnold's helped him out. Helped him out a little bit.
Arnold, that's how Arnold made his money. Arnold said he was a millionaire before he ever even went into Hollywood.
Yeah. They bought properties in Venice.
Imagine the price of properties back in the 70s when Arnold bought some compared to what they're worth now.
That apartment that Arnold bought. Arnold had bought an apartment complex. And he was living in one of the rooms, he said, of the apartment. That thing is probably worth like $10 million today, I'm sure.
Well, probably more than that. I think it's single homes in Marina Del Rey that are worth $10 million.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I'm sure his building there, that Schatzi's building where his office is on Main Street's probably worth a fair bit.
Does he still own that building with Schatzi, where Schatzi's was?
Wow.
I think so. I think his office, because I saw a thing not long ago in the interview, and it said we're going to his office, and it showed the building outside, and they went up there, and he had some Terminator stuff in there. Yeah.
It would be fun to do a real property search, title search on Santa Monica, on Main Street in Santa Monica, and see how much of it he owns.
Chris would know.
Yeah, that's good. Chris could find out.
Those properties have to be worth a bloody fortune over there. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Well, my friend George, he's still in that across the corner from Schatzi's, where he has LA Urban Fitness, the supplement store, and that. He's been there since I was living there.
What did they pay for rent? Oh my God, the rent must be insane.
I don't know, because him and Samir, because Samir's cousin George, he used to be like partners in it, but then George has had that. Yeah, that's been late 90s, 2000s. He's had that store going. It's one of the most popular stores there, supplement store and health foods and that.
Now, a couple blocks from there used to be a building on the corner, and that was Bill Cosby's, and he had his whole collection of vintage motorcycles hanging upside down from hooks on the ceiling. I used to peek in the window.
Could you get one special drinks when you go in there?
Yeah. They had a Quaalude dispenser at the door. You could.
He's in the door when you come in the door.
I like that place. Did you ever eat at that restaurant on Main there as you go down? You know where they used to have the little markets down there in the car park, but before there used to be a good steakhouse called the Galley.
Yeah, the Galley. It was an ancient place with all the shells and the fishing shit on the wall.
Nets and all that.
Yeah, the nets. Now, that place, I think it's still there, actually. I think it's a landmark now.
Great steak in that.
Amazing, great flat iron grilled steak. Yeah.
I didn't have one bad meal when I was in Venice. No matter where I went, the food was always so clean there. It was delicious. I don't know if it's still that same way, but it was.
The food in California in general was pretty good. The quality of the produce was always really good.
Have you seen last time you were there now, like when I was there last year, Abbott Kenny now, that where Max Muscle used to originally be. Have you seen how artsy and fartsy that street is now?
Even Google owns that. That's why.
Abbott Kenny,
that whole street.
No, but they don't know that whole deal fell through.
Oh, I thought they own all that, John.
They were going to make a Google headquarters there several years ago.
Abbott Kenny used to have that. Everyone used to go. There used to be some wood fire pizza place there on the corner on Abbott Kenny somewhere.
That was relatively new. I used to live on a loft just off of Abbott Kinney, and that in the late '80s, right before I went to prison.
The only restaurant I didn't really like was because it's pretty healthy. Some people go to was Van Gogh's Ear.
Van Gogh's Ear. Yeah, that was a great location.
Van Gogh's Ear.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What were you saying, Don?
No, that was that whole area, was destined to go that direction, So
it was
LA is like that. It's very, LA is such a pretentious, kind of wispy place. You'd expect to see the kinds of changes that go on there based on the kind of people who live there.
I couldn't even believe when I went.
There was every store was like a marijuana dispensary, or they had like a bakery with marijuana stuff in it. Everything was pot. I mean, everything, every store had something to do with marijuana. It's
just sections of LA, like Venice, it's a very it's a combination of sleazy and slick, you know, and it's like it's kind of dirty, and then it's kind of not, and then it is, and then you got homeless people, you got drug addicts, you got artists, businessmen, Hollywood people. They're all mixed up together in that whole.
Well, I can't wait to go back there because, like I said, even though Gold's has changed, when you go in there, the feeling still stays the same because it all comes rushing back to when you were there when I was younger. Like seeing Charles Glass still there, and a lot of other people. It's like just seeing everyone there, the feeling's there. But the main place that felt the same was going into the firehouse. The menu's still exactly the same. But I mean, I got the multigrain pancakes, blueberry, and the steak.
It's $30 now. It used to be $5. That's the only difference. The steak come out just as watery as the exact same steak. The pancakes taste exactly the same. I mean, nothing changed. You figure over that many years, they might have cooked it different. I mean, it's exactly the same. Everything.
What was it? The bodybuilder. What was it? The bodybuilder lunch was the chicken breast, the broccoli, and the pasta, right? Or was it?
You get the half chicken. Remember, you get the half roasted chicken and stuff. Yeah,
but it's way more expensive now. It was cheap back in the 90s. It was like $3, $5.
And they still got that famous dish on there that you would eat, Dave, if you went there. The
Bob
bowl. The Bob Chiccarello. Yeah, it's just a bowl full of shit. Just a bowl full of shit.
Remember the Kookaroo chicken place in the marina?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Well, they had the Kookaroo, remember, across the road. It used to be under that clown for a while.
Yeah. That's right. They moved the one there, right? The original one was in the marina, right?
Sparky's frozen yogurt was just down the road.
Yep. And then Chris Cormier was partners in a restaurant called Aunt Kizzy's Back Porch, which was a soul food restaurant.
Yeah, that was over there at Marina Del Rey.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we had Aunt Kizzy's Back Porch at Marina Del Rey, but my friend Al Joshua, he used to come massage me like a sports massage, and he lived down the black area. So he goes, Lee, I'll take you to Doolan's. You had been to Doolan's? I said, no. He goes, well, the guy loans Doolan's. It's his whoever relatives that do Aunt Kizzy. So I'm like, okay, picks me up. We go down there on a Sunday. It's down near Crenshaw, and like where the riots happened. We walk into this restaurant. It's so funny. I still remember. I go walking in. Everything goes quiet. There's probably like 100 black people. I'm the only white guy that's walked in.
Yeah, too.
They're just looking at me. Then he knows the people. Say, "Oh, this is Lee from Australia." Oh, Australia. That was good.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Australian, right?
No, but just the way everyone looked up, like, what the fuck's this white guy doing here? I mean, like, and they were like, just looking like, oh, he's game, isn't he?
Next time you go to that restaurant, you got to put a wig on and tell them you're a trans white woman. That's even worse than you just being white, right?
I'll go. Good thing I didn't have contest color on. I think I was trying to do blackface.
I had a similar experience at a Baptist church chicken fried lunch after church on a Sunday. My friend took me, and I was the only white guy in there. Didn't bother me. They like sucked me in, and like, hey, man, I never ate so good in my life.
They probably put you to work in the kitchen because they
no, I couldn't hold a candle to those ladies. Those ladies fed me, man. I'll tell you what, I couldn't move when I walked out of there.
And John's not being stereotypical there because all my black friends, when I used to go to their places or somewhere when I had a big feed, it was always some type of fried chicken. There was cornbread, and there was watermelon, and there was always some sort of grape fizzy soda or grape Kool-Aid. It was like, it was just all the things you think about stereotype, and you're like, as soon as you say that, you like fried chicken.
That's why the stereotypes are so funny.
To me, it was the same as anybody coming into my basement when I was a kid, and my two aunts and my grandmother cooking on this, pasta on the stove and sauce, meatballs, and downstairs in the kitchen.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. So that those old ladies know how to cook, and so you go into that church and they're frying chicken. Know it's the best fried chicken you ever will eat ever in your entire life. So load up.
It's been like double dipped in batter and re-dipped.
Oh yeah. cholesterol
Some
laden.
special-
Sure, yeah.
Special-
But the way they tend to it, they
Yeah.
got the apron on and they're poking it and touching it, and there's a whole the love they give to the food.
I
You know what I mean?
And when they see you eat it and they see you enjoy it, it's like that gives
Oh,
them
yeah.
joy. If they see
Well,
your,
it's like an old
"Oh,
Jewish grandmother or Italian
Yeah.
grandmother. They love to watch you eat.
Yeah. Well, my grandmother was like that. My grandmother, every time anyone come to visit, she would load their plate up. I mean, like, even a big eater couldn't get through it. And then as they tried to get through it, my grandma would be like, "Is there something wrong with the food? You don't like it?" It's like, there's just,
What, you don't like
so
it?
much.
I've
Yeah,
never
all my
seen
friends
my
were
father
trying to
leave
eat
a
it all.
morsel of
They're
food
sitting
over
there
on his plate ever.
Oh, yeah.
Never. I've never seen my father never left the plate empty ever.
My
and
aunt would be like, my aunt would say, "What? You don't like it?" And
Yeah.
oh no, it's really good. Oh, good, have more. They always have more, no
Well,
matter
my
what.
friend was
There's
like that.
more.
I'd be like, "Lee,
We
it's
would go to
too much,"
restaurants
and-
where the food was not good, and my father would still eat every fucking morsel of it, just not to waste it.
Oh.
I said, "Yeah, I thought you didn't like the food." He goes, "I'm not going to let this go to waste. We're paying for it here."
Oh, mine send it back. Are you kidding?
Well, my father would send it back too, but eventually, like if something just was not satisfying to his thing, he'd still eat it all.
Well,
I never sent anything back, even if it was raw. I'd eat it because my friends like send it back. I'm like, no, if I complain, they'll spit on it. I'm not sending it back. It's like I told you that time my mate and I got the same dish. We went to the Playa del Rey. There's another good steakhouse called the Black Whale. Did you ever go to that one?
Yep.
Well, Lee being his stupid self, he's sitting there, we order, and the waitress we had, let's just say she was like Whoopi Goldberg, but bigger.
Oof.
And so I'm sitting there, and I turn to my friend and go, "I know where the place got its name from, the Black Whale." And she's standing right there.
Oh no!
And I turned around, she looks at me and she goes, "I don't find that funny." And she stormed off, and then she brings our food back and she put mine down and his down, and I went, "Swap."
You got to do that, man.
Well, I thought it was a funny joke, but I couldn't believe she was standing right there when I said the Black Whale, and I go, "Oh, hello."
Yeah, and you know what the funny thing is? Lee is not even racist at all. But the one time you say something that might be misconstrued, the person you're talking about is right behind you.
There was a lot of steakhouses in Marina del Rey. Remember the Chart House? That was another one. Did you ever go to that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a chart house.
That was like half underground. They were like growing the lawn on the roof.
But
Right.
then everyone will go to Benny Hanna's at Marina del Rey.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting. I hate Benny Hanna's.
Oh.
I think
The
that's
best
whole
sushi
thing.
bar-
The only thing I do. Oh, you're right, John.
The best sushi bar in all of California was on Windward Circle in Venice. I can't remember the name of it at the top. Off the
Yeah,
top
I
of
know
my
the one.
head.
Yeah, just near the
Was it a
post
white?
office.
Was it a white building right on the circle and Windward Circle?
Yeah, near the post office area there, wasn't it?
Hama Sushi. I think Hama Sushi was the name of it. I think that's what it was. Yeah, right across from the post. Exactly across from the post office.
The only thing I
Exactly.
hated about Benny Hanna's or those type of places was if I went there by myself, I just went with someone. You got to sit around this thing with people you don't fucking know to carry up like dickheads. I'm like, you're a dickhead. I don't like you. I don't like you.
And it's unbearably hot. That
Yeah.
thing is always so freaking hot. I hate that thing.
What was the name of the sushi place? They had a buffet place on the promenade. It was back in the 90s. There was no sushi buffets. It was the only place you can go there and you could order unlimited.
On 3rd Street Promenade.
Third Street Promenade?
I don't know.
I don't know what it was
I always
called.
went to Johnny Rockets. I didn't go to any sushi place on the promenade.
I used to go to the Broadway Deli. That was my favorite place.
Have you noticed that big mall that used to be down the end of the promenade now is a big open air mall? Well, they've opened it up, so it's one of those. But I used to like going in there to that hot dog place where the people making the lemonade, pushing the thing up and
Oh
down.
yeah, the lemon, the girls with the little outfit uniform on, and they're making
I'll
lemonade
get
with
the corn.
stick.
I'll get the corn dogs in there.
Corn dog. That was like out of a fair, like on the midway of a fair. They took that from.
I used to feel sorry for the kids that worked there. They got the hats on, the little propeller on top, and they're doing.
Oh, it was the god awfulest outfit ever you've ever seen.
Was it blue?
And it was yellow and blue and green.
Red.
Well, it's that time. We got to wrap up the show. John, thanks for joining us, of course, today. And
thanks for having me.
We got told that.
Don't forget, Dave. The big news next week. The new show coming.
John, we have a new show with Lee and Jimmy the Bull. To be honest with you, Lee, I don't know if Jimmy's going to show up, but Lee is hosting the show. It's going to be just Lee and Jimmy. I'm convinced we'll probably lose the YouTube channel once that show goes up. And
is there a subject matter, or is this just a bromance?
Yeah, what do you guys get? What is the theme of the show, Lee?
Well, it's pretty much anything bodybuilding or anything related in the news, but plus Sid's going to have the confessions, where people confess stuff to us, that bad shit they've done or anything. And I can say their name if they want to, but if I don't, I just read out the confession of what they've done, and then Jimmy and I are going to discuss what it is that they've done and if they're fucked up or stupid. But if Jimmy doesn't show up, John can come on the show.
And you're going to sign them pennants as the priest. You're going to.
Yes, I got to find my priest outfit. I got the shirt and the white collar.
Yeah, he will relieve them of their burden, of their spiritual burden.
Sounds awesome.
But if Jimmy doesn't show up, John can come on. It'll be like the old shotgun show.
Yeah. I'll fill in. I'll be happy to fill in.
Not that show ever got me in trouble.
Yep.
Yeah.
It got me in trouble.
I had to unget you out of trouble after that show.
Both of us.
Yeah, both of you. Yeah, I did. Which is a miracle.
I know it all worked out.
Be done. It couldn't be done.
You're like Henry Kissinger.
Yeah.
Isn't the shotgun show where the truth hurt comes from?
Yep. No. All the truth hurts came from RX Muscle. I took it with. I coined it, so I took it with me.
Yeah. We had some. It's been an interesting evolution to
machination.
Well, at least John, we're happy you're not. We're happy you're not in hospital or dead. That 30 minutes of no answers, for 30 minutes. Like Dave always replies, "I'm 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late." Now John can't get him. Sid's like, "I'll try to call him again." I'm thinking, "Oh God, I've already feeling."
I was so enraptured in my interview I was doing that I forgot about the show. But the truth is that I was thinking earlier. I was talking to this guy Leo Meyerhofer about about how we started with bodybuilding. And think about it, we started Muscular Development in 2006, the website. So that's like 17 years ago.
Yeah.
We've been, I don't think anyone else in our industry who's currently popular now has had a channel that long, we started with the Muscle Mob in it was 2006. Yeah, that was 2006.
How did your interview with Dennis James go on that one?
It went good. I think you'll like it. I think it was funny because we talked about like all kinds of crazy.
Who was it? You and Milos and somebody else. Who else was on it?
It was Dennis Newman, Milos, Dennis James, and is that it?
You.
And me. Yeah, it was good because we talked about like Dennis's leukemia a little bit. We talked about. I asked all these guys about losing their hair because Dennis Newman had a great head of hair too, and he lost it. The only person who didn't lose his hair is Milos, and Milos actually told the story that I had never heard about how he had died and came back from the death. Did you know that?
No.
Remember when he injected his arm with synthol? Supposedly?
Yeah.
Well, he was dead. They were telling him they had the priest come read him his last rites, and the doctors were saying, well, you're going to die. And they were telling him he was going to die. And he said, I prayed. He goes, I said, I believe I can self-heal myself. And ever since that episode, he came back. All his, any health, he had something wrong with him. All his health problems were completely healed. He had nothing wrong with him.
Wow.
I remember the time I had the cardiomyopathy and I was in hospital in Santa Monica.
That's true. You were healed too. Yeah.
Cindy Rinaldi was like the nurse in there and she saw me there. But this other nurse had the cardiomyopathy and Kathy's with me. She walked in and just said, "Oh, you're going to die." I thought, "What? I'm going to die?" And that's when she got mad at me because she gave me that meal. Remember? And she gave me this meal because dieting for a show, tells me I'm going to die, gives me a meal of chicken and that and chocolate cake. She says, "Don't eat the cake. You got to do more tests. It'll set the tests off." So she goes, well, I start eating and I'm eating the cake. She comes in. "I told you not to eat that cake." I said, "You also told me I'm going to fucking die. If I'm going to fucking die, I'm eating the cake."
That's what I would have done.
I'm glad you didn't die, Lee. So.
Me too. I would eat the cake.
I'm going out. I'm not going out eating chicken and vegetables.
Fuck yeah, man. Hell, that's correct.
Oh, we got to do a show on people, bodybuilders that came back from the dead.
Yeah,
I think I qualify too because they technically killed me when they did my heart surgery. So yeah, I was out too. So. All right, we're gonna wrap up now though. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Iron Rage. I'm Dave Palumbo with John Romano and Lee Priest. We'll see you next time.